Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video here. So I wanted to talk about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 because we actually have another trailer here for the season, which is really surprising. They're actually promoting the show quite a bit right now. I wasn't expecting that. And honestly, I would say it's definitely a very good thing, I think, compared to Dead City. I think that with that show, they promoted it a little bit early on, but they stopped for a very long time and only really started like the last month or so, right? But with this show here, they're promoting it quite a bit because this show's not coming out till the fall. That could be September or maybe October. I really do hope it's October. I think that I want The Walking Dead to air in October. It's just something that makes a lot of sense. Like The Walking Dead in the summertime doesn't make a lot of sense, but then again, like I'm okay with watching it in the summertime. It's just that I prefer it, you know, around Halloween time or like, yeah, just in the fall. And so I'm assuming that this is probably going to be out in October just because I think that September would be really soon, but who knows? Like, it could literally be out in September, right? So anyways, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. After this, I will be doing a Dead City episode 3 video. Yeah, getting into that episode quite a bit because the episode is airing tomorrow. So yeah, stay tuned for my breakdown and everything of that episode. But let's get into the trailer here. So the trailer begins with Daryl on his motorcycle, and I think this is at some point, obviously, after episode 1. This has to be episode 2 or 3, but I really do like this, like, nighttime shot, or maybe it's, like, early morning, but Daryl's just on his motorcycle, and he's, I'm assuming, in Spain at this point, right? Because I think that they're only going to be in London for, like, the first episode before they end up in Spain, and we do see how a lot of that is set up here in this trailer here. Like, we do actually see how they get here, and it does seem like they're going to be on a boat that ends up, I guess, on the shore here, and, yeah, they're in Spain. So I think what's going to happen just based off of the finale of season 2 is Daryl and Carol obviously were on their way to London, right? And I think they will be there. And then they're going to end up on a boat and they're going to meet Stephen Merchant's character that maybe tells them that, you know, this boat will take you to, I guess, America. I mean, I'm assuming that it's going to be a pretty big boat that will actually be able to do that. I'm not sure. We'll see how the episode goes. Like, we don't know the specifics about the storyline there, but obviously that's their goal, right? To make it back to America. And so that's what they're trying to do here. But they end up in Spain. And it looks like that's where the story is basically going to be starting there in episode 1. So we actually have this shot here of Daryl, and it's like on the shores here, I believe, of Spain, or maybe this is London. I'm not sure, but I do believe this is probably Spain. This is probably when they first get there. And I think he turns around here to look at Carol. So I think that that is likely, you know, this is probably like the ending of episode 1, or maybe it's like at some point throughout episode 1. I don't know how the pacing is going to go here because this season is going to be 6 episodes. I think that season 4 could be 8 episodes or even more than that. But when they were actually filming this, I think they just had a plan to do 6 episodes because that's sort of what they wrote beforehand. But obviously a lot of the criticism for, like, you know, 6 episodes is not enough and all of that, that became a really big issue. And I think that they just sort of wrote everything there already. And yeah, that's just sort of, you know, how they filmed everything there. So it's likely going to be 6 episodes, which I think for this season is not the end of the world because it's the beginning of a story, right? Like, we're starting a new arc in Spain and meeting new characters, and I think that that's something that, you know, for 6 episodes, it works. Like, you're able to tell a really good story there, introduce a lot of really exciting ideas. It's for season 4 where a lot of these arcs are going to start ending or character stories are going to end. That's where you want to really flesh out the story a lot more, right? So that's sort of my concern there is, I think going into season 4, I hope that it is at least 8 episodes. I think for season 3, it can work for 6 episodes. I think it could be fine. There still might be issues, but I think it could work fine. I'm really excited about the Spain storyline because, you know, there could actually be connections to Rick Grimes' brother. It really is just, you know, does the show want to get into any of that? I think if the show does, that would be exciting for a lot of people, but I think for some, maybe not, right? Like, it really just depends on how they want to handle a lot of that. Like, if you're just looking at the very first season of The Walking Dead, like, because in his house, he has like family pictures and whatnot, and you see pictures of him as a kid, and I feel like because he's with another kid there, that could be his brother, right? So I'm just kind of assuming that just based off of the comics, because in the comic he has a brother, so they could actually get into that. And I know the one thing that's always mentioned all the time is, well, like, he's never talked about his brother. It would be so random, just out of nowhere, like, what, he has a brother? In the comic, it was the same exact thing. He never mentioned his brother one time, like, ever. It was Lori that mentioned his brother, I believe, in the 3rd issue. That was it. It just never really ever came up again. So I think that it is something they could get into, but they would have to make the story very believable, because I think a lot of people would accept it, but there's some people that might not and be like, what's going on, right? So you have to make it believable where it just makes a lot of sense. And I think if you did something like that, you would have to have Andrew Lincoln's approval, with a lot of that, because I feel like introducing a brother to Rick Grimes out of nowhere like this, like I know it's technically not out of nowhere, but it still is in some way. I think that you would have to have him be like, yeah, like that's all right, like that'll work, and it'll be exciting. You know, whenever Rick does return, he'll make it work with that story, and I think that it would be really exciting. But there's also the argument as well that I do kind of like, which is Daryl is Rick's brother, right? And I think that's one aspect to this that is kind of cool when you really think about it. Like, Daryl is in Spain, and like in the comics, Rick's brother was in Spain, right? It's almost in a way like it means that Daryl is Rick's brother, right? And obviously in season 4, that's what Rick said, right? Like, you're my brother, Daryl, or whatever. And it was a really incredible scene. It's something that people still talk about to this day. I think for Daryl, he felt accepted, and he just felt so happy. And I think that those two are brothers forever now. And I think that that's why that reunion between the two characters is something people are really looking forward to. And I think that maybe that's just what this could mean here. Like, maybe they don't really ever get into Jeffrey Grimes' story, but maybe it's Daryl that is Rick's brother who is in Spain. Like, that would be kind of a cool connection there, I would say. But we do see some shots here in the trailer of, I believe, like, I don't know who this is. So we see a shot here of Daryl. It looks like Carol is like right beside him because you kind of see her shoulder there because of her jacket. And I think that this is probably episode 1, episode 2, somewhere around there. It's cool that he has his crossbow because he never had it for so long, right? So that's going to be really cool for season 3. But we do see this new character here, and it's hard to say whether or not he's going to be the villain because, like, I don't know, he could just be like, you know, the leader of a community that Daryl and Carol are going to join, right? So I don't know anything about the character yet. The trailer really shows the character to be almost like a villain in some sense, because like he kind of walks up and like Daryl, you know, like he holds his gun up towards him. And so I'm just like, obviously at first, you know, maybe they're kind of enemies, but it's possible that once the episode plays out that this character like, you know, brings Daryl and Carol into the community and then like shows him more about the community, this and that. And then we learn more about the actual villain of the story, because that's kind of exciting about this next part of the story is we don't know who the villain is going to be. And I'm interested in how this is going to connect to the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, like season 1 and 2, and like to the overall Walking Dead just universe in general. Like if there's connections to, you know, stuff that happened, you know, in the Commonwealth or the CRM or any of that stuff, because you know that Gimple is making more and more connections as the seasons go, right? Like you're building towards the reunion story. So you do wonder how things are going to connect overall. And like if this group is connected in any way, what the backstory is going to be here. Have we even seen the villains yet? Like it's one of those things where like maybe we haven't even seen the villain yet of the season. Like I'm really excited about that. Like we do have one character here that, I mean, I don't know if this character is a villain, although I would say probably, but then again, I don't know if he's a part of a group or if he's just by himself, but yeah, he is on a motorcycle though, so I do think this is probably connected to a lot of the shots of him and Daryl most likely having this really awesome like motorcycle battle, I'm assuming somewhere in the desert, so that's gonna be really cool. Honestly, I think that this season here is gonna, out of all of the seasons so far, this might be the coolest season. Like, I hear a lot of people referencing like Mad Max or like Red Dead Redemption, and that is what this season feels like. And I think that that would be an awesome tone to go with here for the season. And I just really wonder how zombies and all that are going to fit in, because, I mean, obviously, like it's going to in some way. Norman Reedus actually mentioned something about something that happens with a walker or something like that this season that is absolutely just insane, and they've never really done that before. And I don't remember exactly what he said, so don't quote me on that, but I know that it was something that, you know, in regards to zombies and all of that, that there was something this season that was really cool. And I don't know if it's going to be variant walkers or what it's going to be, but I imagine that this season here, they are going to have to make walkers obviously a little bit more exciting, I would imagine, or just do something with the story where it is, you know, really exciting. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. And then this trailer just ends with a new season coming this fall. So I'm really excited for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. I'm really excited for The Walking Dead right now. I think that, like, that's the thing with The Walking Dead where I was mentioning that, you know, there has to be a lot more connections. I think that's the thing about having the shows airing too far apart. I think the shows need to air pretty close together, because like the one thing about watching Dead City is it's exciting and I really love the story. But like once I saw the trailer here for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, I got excited about that too, because I was like, well, this is all a part of one world. And I love seeing all the characters together. So I think seeing the characters closer together, you know, with the spinoffs airing closer together, it just makes it feel like the characters are more together than, you know, they actually are. Because if you're airing the spinoff so far apart, it just feels like things aren't connected as much. And I think that you could lose like the excitement for The Walking Dead, right? But that's why I'm excited about this year specifically, because Dead City's starting right now, and The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon's going to be here in a couple of months from now. So like, it's not going to be that crazy of a wait like last time, right? Like this year is going to be a really exciting year for The Walking Dead. So yeah, I'm excited, but definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.